All right. Let's get this show on the road. Slime. Yes. Not sure what slime, but I'm with you. Let's see here. Start with my ugly mug, and then we'll move on to far more interesting things. As you can see, it's week 7,000 of having no access to hairdressers. It's continually more jungle over here, and my the bids for shaving off my hair are increasingly high. So we might see a millimetered hair Joker soon. Uh, until then, however, I'll just be mussed up and lion. I'll just call this a lion's mane. How about that? Just a crazy, crazy lion's mane instead of the mess that it actually is. Sacrifices we make for lockdown, right? So yeah, last week I wanted to discuss last week with you guys, and maybe look at one or two stocks on a casual level. I didn't really have time this week. I had a very busy work week, so I didn't really have a lot of time to do a deep dive like I did with Process and to do a big analysis that I could present to you guys and discuss with you guys. So instead, what I wanted to do was go over the stock market a bit, discuss what we saw last week, the sentiment of last week, kind of wrap up the whole GME and Wall Street Bet story as it's still evolving, of course, but I think you can start to read between the lines and start to draw some conclusions. So starting with last week, I hope everyone had a fantastic trading week. Of course, it's not fully over yet. We still have a couple hours to go, a power hour in a bit. And I don't expect the stream to be so long that power hour will be going over power hour. So we should be able to focus on that after the stream's all over. Yeah, so last week was most underlined by the praise, like the build off of GME's investments and Wall Street Bets and Wall Street divesting from these meme stocks. And I think what we saw, and what you can very clearly see now in hindsight, especially, basically what I talked about last week on Friday. The hedge funds started to lower their risk starting last week Thursday and going into Friday, which means closing out shorts and taking off net long positions. And that's kind of what we saw across the whole stock market. We saw long positions being trimmed. We saw short positions being lowered, and that affected not only meme stocks but everything that hedge funds like to short. I noticed it myself in CDPR, and yeah, those movements painted a very clear picture to me on Friday that hedge funds were positioned fine. They lowered their risk, and they can do this for a very long time, and all they had to do was outlast a group sentiment. I think only the most hardcore of holders are still in GME, and I think the rest took their lumps. And as sentiment starts to go down and down further, do I think a squeeze is completely impossible? No, not particularly. I still think there is the possibility of a squeeze, but I doubt. I have severe doubts of it actually happening. The other thing I wanted to discuss was, of course, the silver craze. It didn't spare this Discord either. I've been bullish on silver since I joined, of course, and for 10 years. I've been bullish on silver, and I think the biggest misconception a lot of people had when they went into silver was that they expected it to be, like a 2-day play. When I explain my bull case for silver, I always do it in the context of it being several years. And I, before I proceed with jumping into specific stocks, I want to give the general disclaimer. It's in the description, it's in the Discord, but everything I say here is just for entertainment and informational purposes only. So I hope you find it both entertaining and informative, but nothing discussed here should be taken as financial advice. Yeah, so silver is a position that I've held. I've sold off a little AG when it hit $22, sold a little more when it hit 24, but I held more than 50% of my position there. It trimmed back. That was fine. My entry was way lower than that. So for me, it was a lot less panic-inducing than it might have been if you FOMO'd into it on Monday at the peak. So that's kind of the place we find ourselves at today, with all these hypes dying down, and there's a few more like a body like kicking as it's about to go out. You see like a breakout in Dogecoin that died, and now it's breaking out again and it dies again. We see a few weird things happening with Elon Musk posting, but none of this really, in my opinion, is really skillful play in the market. It's just playing on sentiment and taking risks and participating in the casino. And we all know with the casino, end of the day, the house wins. So I don't recommend it. If you have any questions, by the way, at any time, just pop it into the Twitch chat or in the questions channel. You can use a live chat room via the command Bear has so graciously given us to pop in any questions. So any question you might have about the stock market, about my decisions, my thought process, my history, or just in general about anything you want to ask about, go nuts. The worst I can say is no, I have no idea. So without further ado, let's get my ugly mug off the screen and get focused on some interesting visuals. I want. There. So this is, actually, I gotta turn off my camera in general so you guys can actually see what's going on. There we are. This is what I have in front of me most of the day. And this is the Dutch market, so these are closed already. But it's quite nice to have a gold and silver spot right here. And we have Asia, Europe, and dollar as well right here. So I use this to track my Dutch investments, or to track the Dutch stock market in general. And this is the US, which has a few more pages than the Dutch one, of course. So gorgeous growth here, Activision Blizzard. I think that's the first thing I want to talk about today. I think I posted my due diligence on Activision Blizzard in July, so if you want to look that up, it's in the due diligence channel. Just search for the word Activision in there, or ATVI, and you'll find it. It's currently at $101. At the time, I put my price target at $100 for August 2021. So that was a normalized case. So we've passed the normalized case. My bull case for Activision Blizzard was $125, $130. So if we are continuing at this rate of growth, I think we'll hit that target or something close or something in between at least. All excellent. I'm very happy with that movement and showing a tremendous growth. And BlizzCon is well on the way, and everyone seems to be fairly bullish on what's happening. And welcome everyone, by the way, if you're new to the stream. Nice to have you. Also good to see some old faces, Goldfish or Big J, Seriously, Dark. Everyone tuning in, Funk, of course. Everyone tuning in, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I get compliments looking sharp. No, I look quite the opposite of sharp today, so I'm quite happy to show you the stock market instead. And a brand new follow. Potato King, welcome, my dude. So, that was the story on Activision. It's why it's one of the biggest gainers today. Is there anything else that's quite standing out to me right now? Not in particular. We started the day very bullish, but ended up with quite a muted day as far as gains are going. It's definitely green, but it's I didn't see too many very aggressive moves. Plus 4.5% on Moderna. Yeah, everything else seems quite nominal. As you can see over here, I have TradingView open with silver. Silver's looking particularly bullish to me, at least right now, so I'm happy to just keep riding that. And again, I'm looking at this 5-minute chart here, and that's just me being interested in how it's moving right now. But in reality, for silver, I almost never look at anything other than this range, because frankly, I'm not in it for a 1 or 2 day move. I'm in it for years, and it's one of those investments you want to make when you have the patience of several years. So going over to more interesting things of this week, place your questions in the chat. Like throw in some tickers you want to hear my thoughts on, or that you've been investing in. I'd love to hear what you guys have been doing and going about this week. I know, in the Biotech chat, we have a lot of people raving about Sava, which was an excellent move. So my compliments to you guys. BNGO is the first request I'm spotting, so let's take a look. Oh boy, everyone keeps throwing biotech at me. I keep telling you guys, I am furthest away from somebody you should listen to when it comes to biotech. I'm absolutely clueless. I've never worn a coat in my life, and that is enough reason for me not to touch it. Let's see here. BNGO is genome analysis space, development and marketing of Sapphire system, a platform ultra-sensitive, ultra-specific structural variation detections. You can't see it, but I'm just shaking my head, going, I have no idea what this is. Hangzhou, San Diego. Cytogenetics. Now, this sounds like something you should definitely ask Kami about. As far as if you got in here, gorgeous, but yeah, I wouldn't know what to tell you. It looks all fine and dandy. We can look at their performances. Let's see here. Cash flow. Minus 10 million on operating. A lot on financing. So I don't know. I like companies with healthy cash flows, and I think that will be the subject of today's conversation. Lots. Okay. So this is retail, and so my opinion on retail right now of all kinds, stores, restaurants, etc., is if you believe that the recovery is closer than others might think. If you think the 2022 summer 2022 estimates are well overblown and they should be closer to, let's say, July this year, then an investment like this is tremendous. Like, this would be the perfect time. But I personally believe that the recovery is still quite a decent ways away. So there's a lot of room on the downside for retail to still be pressured. Let's take a look. UWMC. So this one is vehicle consignment business, marketing technology, provide performance metrics, customer reporting to corporate vehicle sourcing partners. I mean, it's corporate, so this might actually do fine in the current environment. But I think a lot less people are currently driving, so that's just my general thoughts on lots. UWMC. Mortgage lender underwrites and provides closing documentation for residential mortgage loans, originated independent mortgage brokers. Okay, I mean, again, this seems like a hey bland code. Welcome to the stream. It seems like this wouldn't do too well in the current environment, like where a lot of people are struggling to pay rent and pay off debt. Looking at their chart, let's see here. I'm assuming dark is definitely a technical trader, so I'm just going to take a look at that. If you're day trading this, I mean, looking like the price is fairly stable. I don't know this one well enough to tell you what its trade range is. It looks interesting, but as far as the fundamentals go, I don't think this company just by logic alone has much to go on. Don't have any information here. So UWM. WMC stock cash flow. Let's see here. No data available. Okay. Is UWMC part of Wells Fargo? Distributed. Oh, I see. Okay. That's why there's no historical data on that. CSSE. Chicken soup for the soul. Okay, that's excellent. Wow, beautiful. Yes, bullish already. Um, see, perfect. See, I knew it. Every soul needs nurturing, man. So, chicken soup, bro. What's there to say? Emerging growth company which engages production and distribution of video content, distributing demand content across all digital platforms or smartphone. So it's kind of like organized YouTube and such. It's probably better content than what I'm putting down. So yeah, bullish, thumbs up for me. Entertainment industry is growing at a breakneck pace. And since this is listed in the US, it's quite interesting because most of these organized ideas regarding YouTube and Twitch and such are coming from the East, right? You're seeing it in Korea, you're seeing it in China, in Japan. But in the West, we don't have that much of that organized content coming from just companies cultivating and curating content. So, yeah, that sounds really good to me. And I have not seen this, but I'll definitely take a look. It definitely sounds interesting. What I care about for the most part, I've not been doing too well recently. What I care about is, and you can find this back in due diligence where I posted my investor profile a while ago. I care about a financially healthy and fundamentally healthy company, which means I care about cash flow. Right now, I want them to be making cash. I want them to be increasing their cash position because that positions them to do well in the future. It means they can buy out competition. It means that they can handle getting, a shove. And sadly, looking at this, minus 12 million. So let's take a look. Soup for the soul, investor relations. Yeah, but where's your cash flow though? Give me your. Where's your? Okay, I guess I'll have to go through your SEC filing. I see how it is. Balance, equity, cash flows. Okay. Unaudited? Think nope. They're operating in a net loss for 2020 of $31 million. Holy cow. How are you spending this much money? Film library? What does that mean? The storage of films? I suppose. Film library. Oh, maybe they're buying rights? No, that's right here. Programming costs and rights. Okay. So what are we doing here? And if anybody wants to contribute in chat, if you like, one person researching is great. 18 people researching is better. If you guys spotting something that can explain these tremendous costs, they doubled their costs over a year for film library. And then their yeah, depreciation is not really interesting. Yeah, Dark's a technical analyst, so reading those books. Yeah, I actually saw the books when I was searching. Their cash increase. So we're looking at net cash provided by financing. So they're being just financed right now, financed to hit hard. So they're going for growth, and they want to change that into money. This is looking kind of sad at the moment. Rather look at cash flow from Activision Blizzard, which makes you happy. Lots of money going around. Cash is good. Cash is king was as far as that. Like in a zero. So here's my view, right? You might argue, oh, but a growth company has a you're making more money on the back of a market of a market price growing, of the stock price going. You're going to make more money off of that. And while that's true, some growth companies make it big or find some hype. In reality, you're also setting yourself up for when it's not doing so well to take a good hit on the chin. And for a long-term investment, this seems as long as they're not profitable, it seems kind of risky to me. Because again, if the recovery does come, if money rotates out, if they don't find a way to become profitable, to turn that $20 million, that God knows if they have to pay that every quarter, or every year, if they can overcome that and make money without needing financing every year. So no, right now they're just creating more debt for themselves, and I prefer companies that are reducing their debt rather than increasing it. I can read your mind, Dark. We're just that much in tune. Surgery Partners. This seems like more biotech. See. Healthcare Service Holding Company, which engages in the provision of solutions for surgical and related ancillary care in support of its patients and physicians. It operates through the following business: surgical, so it's like surgery rooms, probably anesthesia, stuff like that. Surgical hospitals, probably private for the most part. Oh yeah, here, including anesthesia services. I do know some stuff about this because it's close to my work. They probably work together with other services that need the surgical rooms, but not always. So they provide the healthcare services on that end. So that's interesting. I don't doubt there's a lot of money going around, but here's the thing: maintaining surgery rooms like that is exceedingly expensive. Their current ratio is really decent. Means their debt to equity is not bad. Yeah, actually, the debt to equity is quite nice. And then their income is hurting, but that's probably due to the pandemic. No dividends, though. Not very investor friendly. Yeah, operating at a positive. I think that this is a very interesting company. If you're into biotech, this does fall within my criteria of being interesting, at least. I take a look at their dividend yield and at their free cash flow yield, see what they're generating as a return on your investment, and taking a look at their management and just what your plans are for this stock. What's your outlook? But other than that, this one seems definitely interesting, up my alley. Wanted to show you guys flow traders in the Netherlands. I talk about this in the chat sometimes. This if you look at the range on flow traders, they always kind of hang around. Go to 35, go back. Back 35, go back. This time the retracement was not as deep, as you can see. Going back up again. My price target for this is about $35 until next dividends. So it's gonna probably end up like around here. And that's when they'll pay dividends. And our dividends last time were very nice. See if we'll correctly put in here. Yeah, 14 dividend yield. So no, the dividend per share is actually incorrect. Their dividend per share last dividend was $4, and that was on the interim. I think they paid in total $8 last year. Laser October, so that's Funk. ACRX. Pharmaceuticals. No, I refuse. Stop giving me biotech company, you degenerates. You can take a look at Disney or something. I don't know. Have me look at something fun. I refuse. Okay, here's the problem with biotech. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Biotech for me is a literal coin flip. I'm not a doctor. I've never worn a white coat in my life. I cannot tell you phase 2, phase 3. I cannot tell you the risks. I cannot assess their compounds. I cannot look at the medicine. Don't know their competition. It's a blank space for me. So I can tell you, wow, this company's got this cool medicine against this thing that I'm sure plenty of people have on the third phase, but I don't know what that means. I don't know what their costs are. I don't know how much debt is covered by that. I'm not an expert on this stuff. So I think for biotech, you need to really know the segment in the market and talk to Kami. A slightly communist on the Discord does an excellent job for biotech, but I'm not the guy to talk to when it comes to this. And I'll just straight up tell you, I'd rather not, bullshit in your face and just like, oh, this stock's interesting because this and this. No, to me, biotech is a coin flip. The medicine goes through to make a lot of money. Medicine gets busted down too many times, they lose money. CCIV, okay. I'm being trolled at this point. CCIV, as far as I'm concerned, so far until I see any proof, is bullshit. And when proof comes, trust me, you'll have plenty of time to react to it and jump in. So my thoughts on next week, what to look out for next week, are the following. Silver spot, if it closes at $27 today, it's rather bullish. Even 26.9 would be quite nice, but I'd rather see 27 before close. That might mean another push over the weekend. Don't get too excited on Monday, but I definitely think we've been in a buy zone for gold and silver all day today, and that kind of stands. Again, I want to reiterate, this is not an investment for tomorrow. This is an investment for years. So before you worry and jump into this, do your own research, think about your horizon, and see what you want. That said, you guys have always pressed me for a price target, and I've held since July, and I haven't changed that opinion, that I think gold will be $15,000 by 2025, and I think silver will be $270 by 2025. And that's just based on the fundamentals that I regularly discuss in the channel and that I've discussed with you guys last week. So that's my my final view on precious metals for next week. SENS was requested, so take a look. Sensionic, sorry. Continuous glucose monitor system for people with diabetes. Now, diabetes ain't funny, but the fact that was recommended in another biotech company was. Yeah, so lithium, I know, from what I know about lithium, and I'm not a big expert on lithium, but from what I know, it's rather common. It's just processing effectively is difficult. So if there's a company that does it well and that has an established customer base that makes money, I think that would be an interesting one, but it's not really a sector I'm interested in investing in. Right now, I'm looking to expand my my investments in cybersecurity. I've been looking at buying some more FireEye, some more FireEye, some more Palo Alto. I think Palo Alto is very interesting. I have a position at when was it, in April 2020, so around 180, and right now it's trading at 388, or 385. So I'm quite bullish on them, but I definitely want to buy some more. So maybe I'll wait for a little dip. But Palo Alto is definitely one I want to get some more of. So cybersecurity is big on my agenda right now. Other than that, I'm going to continue cruising in my gaming stocks. I bought a bunch of Capcom. Which you'd have to buy on the Japanese stock exchange. I think this is a very nice point to start buying. The buy-sell signals are an automated signal called Supertrend, I believe. Yeah. It just shows trends, which I don't really follow the signals. I don't, because I don't day trade, but they were quite nice last week when I was day trading. Recaf and Hell. Recaf. Reconnaissance Energy Africa Ltd. Cloudflare for yeah, I think Cloudflare is interesting. Although they're rather expensive. Um, this seems like a penny stock and a half. Let's see, recap. Oh, I see. It's like an exploratory energy junior oil and gas company in Africa. Okay, so here's the thing on oil. I'm pretty bearish on oil. Um, it's got super trend on TradingView. I think it's the like you can only find it there. So my view on oil is quite bearish. I think with Biden in the Oval Office, and with alternative energy being explored as aggressively, the 2050 targets, I think if the world doesn't have any cataclysmic events happen, oil is bound to go lower. So discovery on it is rather risky. It's because it's expensive. It's expensive, and they might not get the payout that the project started on. Right, a junior, you need to remember, a project like this gets planned for 2 to 5 years. So during those years, they probably accounted for the oil price 5 years ago, and if they're now digging with that price in mind, they might end up with a not very economic drill. I think Sava is something you need to ask Kami about. Kami knows all about that, and he called that beautifully. So I definitely recommend, if you have questions about that, hit up Slightly Communist. I'm not a biotech person myself. Yeah, I think Cloudflare is an interesting buy. I have bought some Unity in the last week. I quite like where they stand, especially on mobile gaming. It's in a very nice spot right here. Yeah, being long on Cloudflare sounds like an excellent place to be. Twitch chat right here. 2692, got him. I'm done disrupting, so any good swing trades in 2 to 4 week range. Yeah, I think a tech cookie. I think Unity is an interesting place to be right now. This is exactly like I bought this dip, and we'll see where that goes. I've been kind of looking for a dip on Unity to begin with. I'm keeping an eye out for the Roblox IPO. I think I want to buy that as soon as I can. Just get in early because I'm expecting the hype for it to be very big, and then probably sell off a little bit and continue with the earnings. So is the week 1 going? What is the financial accounting still going on at 6 p.m. EST? I'm not quite sure what your question is. So if you could clarify that to Dark, he'll translate it for me and pop it down in the Discord. So other than Unity, what else have I been exploring? So Capcom Unity, I'm still in Activision Blizzard, which is up again 10%. Beautiful results. I'm very happy with that. Other than that, in gaming, I'm not too busy. I'm keeping a loose eye on Take-Two. Paradox Interactive is another one. But other than that, I'm pretty chill on my portfolio maneuvers. I'm just kind of letting it ride and seeing about next week where we're going. I want the markets to kind of stabilize and get out of the crazy GME Wall Street bets kind of sentiment and calm down and go back to normal operations. I think we'll be bullish for a little while. I'm expecting a bearish March in April. But that's loose predictions that I can't really back up with anything other than just my heart. So yeah, I didn't intend to do a very long stream today, mostly because again I hadn't prepared any particular tickers, but I wanted to just discuss what we discussed last week. I hope all of you managed to get a graceful exit from the whole Wall Street bets scenario. I'll be streaming more every week on Friday. I'll be doing a little recap. I'm also going to try to write a monthly newsletter for SMLC, so hopefully you'll see those pop up more often. I've done one as a little pilot, but unfortunately through moving in December and such, I just lost the time to do it again. I just spotted somebody asked about Yamana Gold. I actually have Yamana on my wish list, so Yamana is definitely on the short list of interesting miners. Take a quick look at Discord and any questions we have there. What are your thoughts on the U.S. stimulus checks being a continual thing for the rest of the year and about the proposed student loan debt forgiveness? How would these long things affect the market in the long run? So, how would these things affect the market? So I kind of already knew that was happening, right? If you know anything about economics, you know that one stimulus check of $1,000 is not going to stimulate. You need to do multiple, several times for it to start having an effect, because the first one goes to covering debt, which doesn't stimulate; it just covers debt. So you need several to start stimulating, and even then, only a percentage of that will stimulate. And some people will save it, will put it. A lot of it will go into the stock market. So I think a lot of money is being printed right now to put out this stimulus, and I'm not sure if it's going to have the economic effects that they think it will. I hope it will for all Americans, because if it doesn't, the repercussions could be rather disastrous. Forgiveness of loan debt, I have two opinions on. Student loan in America is friggin' crazy. It's insane. It's super high, and some people are indebted for life. I think the whole culture in the U.S. needs to be changed as far as universities go, as far as guarantees of loans go, as far as how banks and how schools treat their costs. I think university needs to be affordable for those with the noggin to go to university. There needs to be opportunity for everyone, and that opportunity needs to be equal, in my opinion. Which means schools need to become significantly cheaper. But I also think a lot less people should go to study. I don't think we need this amount of people in social studies. I don't think we need this many social studies or studies that aren't practical skills. And again, this is a rather unpopular opinion, but the studies that aren't practical skills, they should exist for sure. But there should be a big ass disclaimer that, hey, if you're following this study on how to become an accomplished writer about the art of the inner art of a fly's wingspan, and that's going to be a lovely study for you, and I'm sure it's adding value to society, but it's definitely not going to cover your student loan. So make sure you do something first to cover that before you do something like that for fun. I still think those studies should exist. I think there should be nothing stopping you from taking them. But I also think that that's the kind of debt that shouldn't be forgiven. Now it should be, because it's expensive, and it was definitely poorly advised, and it become a culture that everyone needs to go to university and just get your paper and study whatever you want, and waste so much money that you're now stuck in debt forever. That's bad, and I'm not a fan. But if we're going to reform the system, make studying cheaper, promotes learning practical skills, especially if people want to pay off their debt, and offer these more artistic or flamboyant studies. Sure, offer them if you'd like, but offer them with the explicit disclaimer that people still need to make money end of the day to cover them. Yeah, hashtag my American friend who is $200,000 in debt after graduating a double major in archaeology and sociology. Yeah, see, I think archaeology is super important, and sociology too. But you can definitely do that after you've worked for 5 to 10 years, and then you take a study like that. Or if you come from money, then sure, why not? But working yourself into debt for something that isn't going to very likely make you that money back is just not economical. And I believe in things being economical. Did you go over psychology of the locking gains and not just riding the waves in the market? No, I have not yet. So thank you for bringing it up. And that's actually a lovely thing to segue into. Let's take AG as a recent example. Okay. So I've been in AG for quite a while. So I started talking about it in the Discord last week, Wednesday. So that was on January 27th. It was $13, $14 at the time. But my average purchase price for AG was like 13.5. It was a late entry for me. I was mostly allocated in Pan American Silver. And last week, starting Monday to Wednesday, I started shifting some of that to AG because I saw the short interest. I saw that the interest was growing in Wall Street bets, and I wanted to ride that short-term ride. And I think AG, because they have large silver reserves, what was an interesting play. They're not selling to Comex right now because they believe it's being manipulated. So that's part of their value. And as long as they're not going bankrupt, this is a fine strategy for them, and I'm a big fan of it, to be honest. So here we are with this entry, and I'm a big silver bug. I mean, I'm all about being stable with your positions and holding. However, when a stock goes up from $14 to 21 or 22, it's like these candles don't quite show, but it reached 24, I believe, at its high there. When it's such a parabolic upward move, and it's not a steady gain, I take profits. I take a step back. I'm like, okay, no way this holds up. I'm going to take 25% out or 50% out, right? And I'm going to see where it goes. If it dips, great, I'll buy some more. If it doesn't, then I'll just leave it be. It dipped. I bought some more. I bought it like right at the recovery here, so 16 something. Went up again. Well, here I held. Here I didn't quite spot the dip, but that's fine. It went all the way back up to $26. I sold at 24. Again, such a steep rise can't be sustained, so I went to $24. I said, you know what? Good enough for me. I'm going to take 50% profits, take that off the table. People were asking, are you still bullish on it? Yeah, certainly am. Super bullish, but doesn't mean it has to be done today. It needs to be, this gap needs to get filled, right? And shortly after, it went back down. So I still held AG at that time. Hey, Jendan, welcome to the stream. It still had to be, it's still going to go up. But this parabolic moves, I don't believe in them, no matter what stock I'm in. So if I see an opportunity like that to take some profits, I will. And now I bought back in again, like at $14, $14.90, $14.50. I bought a little bit at 16.5. I'm re-bolstering my position. I'm going to do the exact same thing. If it goes parabolic again, I'll sell a little bit again. So as far as taking profits goes, if I'm trading and then I'm very aggressive about taking profits. If I see a nice rise, if I've achieved my goals, I'll take 50% profit if I think it can go higher, or I'll take all the profits that I have on the table. And if it goes higher, I don't feel bad about that. You should never feel bad about taking profits off the table. Never. If it goes higher, that's fine. You can always find another entry at another point. Right? Don't beat yourself up over lost gains. Instead, beat yourself up over what could happen if you didn't take profits. So yeah, it's gonna go back up, and we'll see how steady it is. If it's a nice steady rise, I'm gonna stay in, because I think AG can go to $30, $40 easily. So I'll be happy to stay in for a while. But that's kind of my my psychology on taking profits, and the same goes for CD Projekt. The same goes for Activision Blizzard. Sudden aggressive moves, parabolic moves are rarely sustainable. So I analyze the situation, and I potentially take profits, or I make a move that seems appropriate for me at the time. Clarification based on your upcoming events. You said there's going to be an event that would go over certain topics. Where you're still doing that today, or reschedule for a different date? Let's take a look. I don't recall any topics that I think you might be referring to the post above, which is Vice's course. So when Vice starts streaming, he should be going over the financial accounting and such. I do intend to do such a stream as well, but today is not the day we're going over how to read a cash flow statement. I'll need a lot more energy, maybe a few days off to prepare that and make a proper lesson out of it. So yeah, that's my strategy on taking profits. Do you typically take 50% profits from Laser October, or Funk, as we know him in the Discord? Yes, the 50% is my typical decision. If I see something, oh yo, Jendan, you subscribe with Prime? Let's go, dude. That's awesome. That's fantastic. Very happy with that. Welcome to the gang. The very first one, actually. So yeah. Anyway, putting my big smile aside for a second to wrap up the topic. Yeah, typically 50%. If I think, oh, it can't possibly go higher than this, or if I think, whew, I reached my target, but it's still going, or if I'm day trading something, first subscribable and many to come. If anyone's curious what I intend to do with the subscriber money, I'm going to put it aside. I'm going to be purchasing some analyst reports from Morningstar and such. I'll be digesting those and reporting back to you guys on stocks you might be interested in. So that's my plan. Depending on if that's legal and allowed, I'll have to look into it, but that's roughly my plan. Yeah. So that's a typical 50%. 50% is great. It's the one secret for Dado King. Let's go. That's number 2. Absolutely crazy, guys. I'd give you a big old kiss if I could. That's actually go. That's exciting. So 50% is my secret strategy. Take 50% off the table and you'll be good to go. Especially if you go up 100% on something and you're like, whoa, it really should not be here. Like I had that with Palantir. Taking 50% is perfect because you're still in it if it goes higher, but if it goes lower, then you've covered your profits, and from there you can make good decisions. So thank you all for watching. I'll be streaming more like short streams all throughout the week, playing some games, talking about the stock market, talking about the movements of the day. If you have any questions, don't be shy to hit me up on the Discord. I'm always happy to discuss them, especially if you word your questions well and you come to me with an open mind and with your thoughts collected. I love asking or answering questions and also asking questions back. Sometimes making somebody think is interesting and fun in and of itself. So thank you guys. I'll be keeping you guys updated, of course, on the silver situation over the weekend. I'll be tracking that rather closely, and all the other stocks we're talking about. Big prediction for next week, not so much as last week. Last week I predicted that GME was done. I think that prediction came out, so I'm 1 for 1. I'm a little scared to do another one now because that'll break my my perfect record. Check your questions on Discord. Will do, good sir. Let's take a look. Yeah, we went through the upcoming events thing. I think he was referring to the Vice question or the Vice's schedule. So I'm going to refrain from doing a big prediction. I don't think there's going to be too many crazy things happening next week. I think we'll just see a stable market week. I'm still pretty bullish on Activision. I think EA is going to find some rises. And another stock that I'm going to be doing DD on would be Ubisoft for next year, because they'll be releasing a Star Wars game in 2 years. It'll be the first one outside of the EA license. So and it's going to be an open world Star Wars game, which we know does well. So I'm excited to dive into Ubisoft again. I divested from them like a year or two ago because of their corporate culture. I hear they're making good changes, so excited to take a look at how that's evolved, and it gives me a gaming position that's primarily in Europe as well, which is something I want. I want to kind of diversify which currencies I'm invested in, and right now it's quite heavy on the dollar. So finding a nice gaming stock in Europe would be a nice way to balance out my gaming portfolio. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the subscriptions. I'm honored and truly I had no idea. I didn't expect that to happen, and that's super exciting, and I motivates me to even to put in some more effort for next week and see if I can actually do a nice deep dive on a particular stock. Yeah, guys, thank you so much. Have a fantastic end of your trading day. I'm excited for Power Hour. Let's see what happens. Let's try to get silver to close above 27. That would be exciting. Yeah, peace.